Hello, welcome back. My World 67. This is G-Man. Well, I just wanted to share this 400 engine with you. My good friend Gary over at Trains in the Basement was listening to one of my videos, and he heard me saying that I was doing a special project and that I needed a motor for it, a large March motor, and I didn't have one that was, well, matter of fact, I'm out of them. Didn't have one to rebuild right now, and that I was going to have to get one. And he contacted me, and he said, I'd like to help you out with a motor for that special project you're working on. And so he said that he was sending me a Marx motor, and then later on he told me when he got ready to send it that he was actually had put it in a 400 body. This is that engine. Really nice looking. As a matter of fact, this 400 body looks better than one of my other 400 bodies, and I have a couple of them, I guess, but only one with the large motor in it. This actually looks better than mine with the large motor in it. And so what I'll probably do is when I use this motor in my special project, I'll use this shell and replace my 400 shell with this 400 shell. Now this is all original. Really nice shell. And I want to thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. And I'm going to start on that project hopefully in the next 24 hours, but I want to finish up the American Flyer freight cars first. Actually, I was working on that in between, and the motor and everything that I was going to use for that, the type of motor at the time, it all went south on me, so it left me with having to finish the project up with just the regular Marx motor. But this motor really runs great. The engine runs great, and I don't want to get too close to it. It's really clean. Gary rebuilt this motor himself, and so he sent me one of the very best motors I believe that he probably has. I know he takes pride in his work, and so I'm going to run it for you real quick. And let's see. I haven't been out in this shop outside of coming out to get parts or something like that since before this last hurricane and storm. And so everything, as you can see, is just once again piled up and junked up. And I got to get out here and fix this. I'm going to make some additions or some changes once again to the layout. I've got some old 34 curves now that Kent Poole had sent me, and that was his contribution to the layout for me, and I thank Kent for that. And I've still got to get those tracks cleaned. Gosh, just a lot of work to do out here. As you can see, trains everywhere. Still working on my shelving. I've got to get up, finish that, get stuff placed. Still got a lot of stuff in boxes. And I have boxes and boxes of trains that need repair. So I'm not going to be buying any more trains this year. I'm going to repair some of those trains that's needed repaired. I have repaired some of them, but I've got a bunch of trains that need repaired that I've had for several years and had never gotten around to it. A lot of them are right here on this shelf. I want to restore that, or at least refurbish it. There's a couple of cars up there that need to be redone. There's another version of that lumber car. So actually now I have 3 of those. I want to redo that steeple cab, American Flyer. Put together my Hiawatha set, the small old 27 passenger. And what you're looking at is the freight and then the passenger cars on top. Get those cars up and going. In the S gauge, I've got this Northern. It hasn't ran in years. I've got to do some work on it, get it going. There's a lot of work that I haven't done. And because I'm always rescuing and buying more junk. And I love junk. But sometimes you get so much of it that you get behind on it. And I'm behind on the junk right now. So anyway, let me show you this 400. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with it. It really moves. It's quick, it's fast, and I ran it earlier. Slow it down a little bit. And it went off again. That section of track is just really, has really good continuity. And when the engines get right there, they just take off. That's where my second leader wires are. All right. I'm going to take it now and go back into my desk. Okay, here we are. Now, my special project. Of course, you guys know if you've been watching that I've started to finally get into Hornby. Am I going to collect Hornby? Well, not get into it like that, I don't think. I'm always going to be a marks guy and always going to be a flyer guy. And I just love trains. And so, having said that, as you saw, I had already done one Hornby engine, repowered by Marks. And that was this one right here, the Great Western. Class 2 locomotive. Well, I've always wanted a Flying Scotsman and a Royal Scot. And here about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I acquired this Royal Scot. And I'm in the process of rebuilding it and putting it together. Now these are tin, and they're heavy locomotives. I've got the front truck mounted onto it. This is not an original front truck, neither is it Hornby. And I've already got everything set up to mount the motor in it, and that's what we're going to use this 400 motor to do. Originally I had a battery operated motor that I was going to put in, and I had 2 or 3 of them, and the motor just quit working. And rather than to fool with it, I thought I'll get another one out of the shop that I had put away, and it did not run either. So that left me with no choice but to go back to the conventional, which is just as well. I just wanted to do it differently, and still may at some point use one of those to power up a Hornby engine. But we're going to take this motor and put in this shell, and we're going to repower another Hornby classic engine. This is pre-war tin. This was a wind-up engine originally, and not an electric. Now I have another one, the Flying Scotsman, that we're going to do later on. I'm going to try to do one of these a month until I've got all the ones that I have 5 of them, until I've got them all done. So that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. Again, thanks guys for watching. As always, happy rails until we meet again. This is G-Man. Bye-bye for now.